Good evening, everyone. It's evening here in Nigeria where I'm speaking from, and my name is Anma Shanlua Tublova, but you can call me Toby for short. It's a very easy way of calling my first name actually. And I would actually like to thank Rory and Catherine for giving me the opportunity to speak at UXDX. This is my first time here, though, and I would also like to come back if I'm permitted to. Okay, a little bit about myself. I've been given a platform, right? But why am I actually giving this platform? Who am I in the first place? Okay, as I've said before, my name is Anima Shanlot of Global Goodness, and I'm a multidisciplinary designer with 3 years of experience spanning different creative fields. I've worked in UI UX, I've worked with branding, illustration, I've worked as a creative director, and also I'm a graduate, right? I have a degree in I have a BSc in computer science from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and previously, my last employment was at CBF for Africa, where I worked as a product designer and design tutor for a year. And currently, I'm engaged as a freelance product designer and brand designer. Having said all this, having gone through these different stages of design, different fields of design, UI, UX design, branding, illustration, creative direction, and so many other parts, what does this actually enable me to talk about? What does it give me like a platform to talk about? I would actually really like if I had a real time audience. But I'll do what I have. I'll make do what I have. So my talk title is Unleashing Your Potential as General Designer and Your Power as General Designer in 2024. That topic, what does it mean, and who is my target audience for this talk? Okay, I have four different target audience for this talk. I have the specialist designers, the generalist designers, and I also have non-designers, which is kind of different from what the other two speakers have talking about. I have non-designers in my plan for this talk, and then the fourth category is actually Nigerian designers. I would give a brief reason why I said that. Okay, the reason why I said non-designers are actually in my talk. My reason for this talk is because I'm standing as a poacher. I'm standing as a poacher for you want to do design. Okay, yeah, generally design is the best way to go. Then also for Nigerian designers, there's this neglect kind of for African designers generally when you don't have a wide array of skills on a global market. So this has pushed so many Nigerian designers into generalist design. Most Nigerian designers are mostly generalist design, and which is not an issue for me because it is something I love doing as generalist designer. But not everyone wants to become a generalist. Some people want to specialize. Some people just want to do their UI UX and rest. Some people want to do their graphic design, rest. Some people don't do their motion design and rest. But I actually don't have any problem with that. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Unlocking your design potential, the power of general designers explores the freedom that comes with being a generalist in design. With a wide range of skills, you can easily switch between sectors, industries, work mode, which says either contracts, you want to work contract, you want to work full time, you want to work as a freelancer. This gives you the opportunity to be able to work and you hold the playing cards. Okay, so what are we trying to talk about today? I said previously in my slide that you need to have a wide range of skills. So what are the skills you need to have? Do you need to have all these skills? Are they really important like that to have all these skills for you to become a generalist designers? What industries would these skills enable you to work in? How would these skills help in your job search? And what are some general designers? And then I'll show you my own work. So it can just be see if I'm leading you where I haven't done any work on my own. Let's dive in. What skills do you need to have? What skills do you need to have? The frenzy that is going on everywhere is okay, UI, UX design, product design. Everyone wants to get into this space. UI, UX, UX, UI, anyone. Brand identity design is another skill. Illustration is another skill. Typography is another skill. Motion design is another skill you need to have. 3D design is another skill you need to have. Graphic design, mesh design, photo manipulation. There are so many other skills like you need to have, but we are going to run through all of this today, and we see that I would try to see if do I actually need all these skills to become a generalist design, or do I actually need a little bit of them to become a generalist design? So, do you really need to learn all these skills? My answer is definitely no. In sense of not everyone actually has the mental capability to take on so many skills. Not everyone has the interest in other skills. So it's not like I'm forcing you to become a general designer. No. This is actually going to be an interactive session. Interactive session with no audience though, but it's actually going to be fun. So let's move forward. Yeah, you can see on my slides, you can see a bunch of newspapers, The Nation, The Guardian, The Wall Street, The Telegraph, and the New York Times. Why am I showing you this? As general designer, one of the main ingredients to have is curiosity. Let me give you a little story about myself so I can dive into this slide. Okay, I started as a graphic designer. Then I got curious. Curiosity actually brought me into this field. Curiosity. I saw some 3D designs. I was like, oh wow, I should be able to do something like that. How was that done? It made me curious and decided to learn Blender. I saw motion design. I was like, wow, my static designs can actually move. So how is that done? Yeah, it brought me into motion design. And I'm showing this newspaper page because I actually asked self question that why are all newspapers like this? Who is the first person to create a newspaper and made it this way? So curiosity is actually one of the best ways that I can become a general designer. So this the Guardian. The Guardian it's a UK newspaper. The Nation is a Nigerian newspaper. Wall Street is in the US. The Telegraph is in Indian, and New York Times is also a US magazine. But they have almost the same design. So the curiosity made me ask that who is the first person that designed this? Why is it like this? Why couldn't it be more colorful? Why could it not be like an app or something like that? So curiosity is actually one of your greatest strengths and dedication. So after all the skills you need to have, UI, UX design, brand identity design, illustration, typography, motion design, theory design, graphic design, and design for the manipulations. And I've answered the question of do you need to learn all the skills? And I've given you an answer of no. So let's make this practical. Tobias is a guy that has three skills: illustration, motion design, and graphics design. And he's asking, what industries can I work in? He's asking. So by the time we are at the close to the end of these slides, you'll be able to answer the question marks on my slides. Firstly, he can work in tech. He can work in tech because he has illustration. But we'll answer these questions at the end of the. So, what industries can you work in as a generalist designer, and what skills do you need to have in each industries? So, tech is the main one in the market right now. So, some of the skills you need to have as a tech designer, or probably an in-house tech designer, general designer for a tech company. Branding, you need to have branding. Companies need logo these days. They need consistent branding of maybe their previous logo. So you definitely have to be proficient in branding for you to work with a tech company as general designer. You have to know how to design a user interface, UI design. You have to know how to present your branding because motion actually enhances branding. It's one of the things that enhances branding. It enhances your logo animation, then illustrations. One of the tech sites that actually use illustration more are the fintechs. They use illustration of coin, different payments, different types of illustrations just to depict their payments, the fintechs. So illustration is actually a skill you need to have. Then graphic design. If I actually had a live audience, I would have when we are done, I would have actually asked that after me going through all this, which industries do you think Toby with only three skills can actually work in? Well, let's move forward. So You can actually use Adobe Illustrator for your illustration, Figma for UI UX design, Adobe After Effects for your motion design. Other softwares include Adobe XD, Procreate, Protopie, and Adobe Premiere Pro. Let's move forward. As a general designer, you can work in fashion and you have skills needed. These are necessary skills, not necessarily the only skills needed. So we have motion design, illustration or sketching, and 3D design. So 3D is so 3D is a 3D design only for fashion designers, for people in the fashion space. Blender can be used, but Blender is not the main 3D software for the fashion space. So Clo 3D is actually a 3D design software that helps in the cutting and other parts of fashion design. The motion design using After Effects, Procreate for illustration or sketching of video. Procreate is an Apple iPad app that only works on Apple iPad at the moment. Okay, so fashion, you need motion design, illustration, sketching, then 3D designs. Let's move forward. As general designer, you can work in entertainment or sports. Then you need motion design, illustration for the manipulation. I would like us to take note of these skills regarding Toby, the guy that has just illustration, motion design, and graphic design as his only skills. The industries and sectors you can actually have a say in. So in entertainment or sports, you need motion design, which you can use Adobe After Effects for, illustrations, you can use Procreate for the manipulation, you can use Adobe Photoshop for. Then other softwares includes Lightroom, then Adobe Illustrator for your illustration. Then general designer can work in manufacturing or packaging sector, which you need 3D design to create your mockups from scratch, packaging design, photo manipulations to present the mockups, motion design to present the mockups in a video format, then typography to have on the packagings. So these your softwares that you need are Blender. Blender actually works well with in these 3D aspects compared to the fashion where Clo 3D is one that works well. So Blender works well here for a packaging design, mockup, Adobe After Effects, then Adobe Photoshop. Another sector is the education sector. Giving an instance of a graphic or a designer in a university, he needs graphic design for the social media pages to increase the visual aesthetics of the page. Then merch design to design some maybe basketball jersey, different jerseys for the school, maybe sweaters and all of that. Merch design, then motion designs to present the designs he has made. So you need software like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe After Effects. Other softwares include Lightroom. Then press, another sector, so press and advertising. So graphics design and motion design. Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe After Effects, and other softwares include Lightroom and Adobe Illustrator. Then the government. In most countries, because there's this frenzy about tech, everyone wants to work in tech. The government sector has actually been neglected. That's why we see subpar designs coming out from the government, announcements, subpar logos coming out from the government. But if we, as generalist designers, can actually know that we can actually work in so many industries, we would represent designer community better. So governments, we work in governments, graphic design, motion design, and you can do this with Adobe After Effects, Adobe Illustrator, and Adobe Photoshop. I could have asked this question if I was in real time, but from all those industries I've given, Toby can work in so many industries, even though he has only three design skills: illustration, motion design, and graphic design. He can work in tech. Can work in tech. Illustration is needed. He can work in fashion. Illustration and motion design is needed. Can work in entertainment. Motion design and illustration is needed. You can work with manufacturing and packaging sector. The motion design is needed, and you can work in education sector, graphic design, and motion design is needed. You can also work in press and government. So, how does this help in job search? How does it help in job search? Company asks for more now. We are in 2024. Companies ask for more. They demand more of their designers. And even though some companies be doing so much for real, they want a graphic designer, but all their requirements and job description states that they actually want a developer that is good in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and they actually want a UI UX designer with motion designer with 3D design just in one person and a little pay. Even though companies be asking for too much, but it's actually necessary these days for you to upskill as a generalist designer. Okay, so these are some job applications from LinkedIn that shows why it's important being a generalist designer. This is a senior graphic designer. That's the job title, and it's QR code remote. So the first, they need create they need the designer to create highly and creative, engaging concepts and ideas for the design and execution of visual and communication assets across digital platforms. They need senior graphic designer, but they need advanced skill in Figma, iBlender, After Effects, even though it's optional, and focus on digital design. So this shows that a being a general design is actually what is going on right now and helps in job search. It increases the chance of getting a job. Another type is they're asking for user interface design. So they need him to design interface, wireframe, prototyping, graphic design. He needs to create icons, graphics, and visual elements to enhance the interface and communicate the function properly. Responsive design, ensure that designs are responsive to and adaptable to different screen sizes and devices. Collaboration, work closely with cross-functional teams, including UX designers, developer, and product manager to translate user requirements to design solution. They are asking for a junior UX designer, canonical, remote. Said, junior have the vital role of source of Ubuntu. So you know the ins and out of typography. As I said before, it's a skill you need to learn. Using in and out of typography, color, and layout, and you care deeply about usability, accessibility, and web standards. You should have an agency, company, or freelance design experience. Another example is that shows general design is actually what's in vogue right now is as a visual UI designer, they actually need you to have knowledge of InDesign, Illustrator, Figma, and Photoshop. Let me give you okay. Last one, motion design, motion graphic designer at Appzone Limited, Lagos State, Nigeria. Animation of design assets, creating animation mock-up of UI or web pages. Use computer and editing software programs, video switching device, digital video. Okay, bring static images to life through the motion graphics. They create 2D and 3D animation. This is actually where I'm going. 2D and 3D animations. So if a motion designer says, okay, I'm just motion, let me just work with 2D. Where does is actually really at the pecking below the pecking order when this job application is asking for 3D animation. It's actually below the pecking order already. So what does being a general designer help you do? It helps you to understand and have better problem solving skills. General designers are natural problem solvers because if you've had experience in so many fields of design, it's becomes kind of easy for you to become a team lead, and team leader are expected to be problem solvers and you think outside of the box. Consistent branding. When you actually handle both the branding and illustration, or maybe the branding, or maybe the design of an app and the illustration, you actually know what you want. You illustrate what you want, then you use it in the UI of the app. If you have the skill of a UI designer and illustrator, because sometimes you want to work with other designers, and even though collaboration is actually very very good, but sometimes you want to work with other designers and they're not really delivering what you actually want. But if you have ideas in this each field, you can actually communicate well to the illustrator, or you can just illustrate it yourself to have a consistent visual language across all touch points. Then creative freedom. You are not limited by bounds of single discipline as we talked about before. You can work in so many industries. You can experiment freely, blending different styles and techniques to create truly unique designs. This creative freedom often leads to innovative solutions that stand out in a crowded job market, as we always talked before. It makes it stand out in a crowded job market. Better chances of getting a job. Let's talk about it. So, who is a popular generalist designer? Virgil Abloh is one. When you hear of Virgil Abloh, you think of the former Louis Vuitton creative director, but he's definitely more than that. Added to his exploits in fashion, he has worked on visual designs in the entertainment industry and furniture industry, to the extent of he didn't just work on the entertainment industry just once. There's a complex article. Complex is a music blog that says a history of Virgil Abloh's album covers. So definitely didn't work in only fashion, and definitely did not work in music just maybe as a side also, or maybe something he just did once. I would share the link on my LinkedIn page after I'm done with the talk. So he actually worked on different album covers. So these are some of the album covers he worked on. He worked Kanye West Jesus in 2013, Kid Cudi's Wizard in 2012, and Uzi's Love Is Rage in 2017. Then also worked in the furniture industry. He had a collaboration with IKEA. It's called Makarad Collection, Virgil Abloh and IKEA's collaboration. So this is an example of a general designer who, rest in peace to him, though, who actually stood out in so many of the things he did, even though he did so many things. Okay, so I've told you a lot about other people and how does it help you to stand out in a crowded job market. So the person who is speaking to you, is it just speaking from theory, or has actually done works in different creative fields of design? And the answer is yes. I have worked on illustrations, branding, UI design, mesh design, book design, concept design, logo design, and I will actually my next slide will start with mesh design. So Benson is actually a Nigerian Afrobeat artist, and I worked on a merch for him back since '97 on his EP. Worked on merch design. Benson back since '97 merch design. These are the designs. Then these are them in the mock-up and real time. Then I also worked on Jordan Wood design, a jersey design for the brand Jordan Wood. Then I've also worked on illustrations. When I heard Burger King was coming to Nigeria, even though I wasn't commissioned, this was just a personal project. I decided to illustrate the three main tribes in Nigeria, just to show support of them coming to Nigeria. That was last year. So this is an illustration that I did. This is a Fulani tribe or Hausa tribe. This is the Yoruba tribe, and this is the Igbo tribe. And I also worked on Google Independence Day illustration, Google Independence Day illustration, which showcased some parts, Nigerian Google Independence Day, which showcased some parts of Nigeria, which shows the Central Bank of Nigeria, the National Theatre, Welcome to Abuja, Zuma Rock, and the confluence rivers, River Niger and River Benue. This was illustrated by me. This is an illustration, the Edge coin, that shows, this is an illustration by me that I did for a called Edge coin. So these are some of the illustrations they needed to do. Coins, Ethereum, safekeeping of their assets, and this is for another brand, a fintech brand that helps to that helps international transfer. So the illustration of different monuments or landmarks of different countries were illustrated by me also. I've worked on UI UX design before also. I worked on Archive, a cloud storage company, something like Dropbox or iCloud or Google Drive. So I worked on the UI design of this. I can drop the link when I'm done. I'll drop the link to my portfolio to check all this and more about them. I worked on brand design, brand. I worked on brand design. I worked on archive brand design. Archive is actually the company I talked about before. That is a cloud computing, cloud storage company. Then Grant is one I talked about before. So that enables international transfers of money. Brand design. Then I worked on a little bit of motion design, also for the presentation of all these brands. This one playing right now is the stickers for the Grand brand stickers. These are the presentations of. Also, this is a launch video, a little launch video for archive when the I also worked on concept design. This was actually a personal project also. I imagined if Netflix and Coca-Cola had a collaboration together, Netflix and Chilled, which was just a playful concept design by me. Shows Netflix and Chilled with the code background. Shows different ways you can take the coke and different devices you can watch on. Coca-Cola, access bottle, can, pets, TV, tablets, mobile phone, and laptop. Then that's a little bit of my expert in concept design. And with this, I'll say I've come to the end of my talk and thank you very much for listening. Any questions will be attended to. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much, Toby, for giving us kind of a history of your experiences there. We are just about actually out of time, so unfortunately we don't have time for questions, but I just want to thank you once again for sharing your kind of background and your history there. It was quite interesting, and we always try to see what's happening in some different markets as well to kind of get more of a global feel. So it kind of gave us a bit more insight into the Nigerian market. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you very much also.